A miracle can happen in your life in 5 seconds. Here's the 5-second miracle. I'm at the edge of my seat. Take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, without exception and without condition. Everybody stands up, shakes my hand, pats me on the back. Lesson over. I looked at my uncle and I said, 5 minutes to learn, a lifetime to master, right? And he said, yep. He says, for the next 5 years, and I go, here we go. We're going to be training you on this. 5 years of training on that. Well, you can imagine, how can you take 5 years to train on something so simple? How do you take 100% responsibility when you're driving down the road, minding your own business, and some drunk blows through a red light and smashes into your car? How is it that your responsibility? How are you responsible for that? How did you create that? Well, it's hard for you to grasp that. It's hard for most people to grasp it. That's why they can only go so far in terms of achieving success and manifesting things and attaining high levels of consciousness and awareness, because they can't grasp it, nor do they even try. They not even open to that possibility. They shut it down. It's not my responsibility. That guy was drunk. I didn't do anything wrong. He went through the red light. Oh, you shut it down. It's over. At least be open to say, you told me I create everything in my life, and I have to take responsibility for everything because I created it. How the hell did I create that? Okay. Well, let me spend some time trying to figure that out. When you at least are open, you start opening up all channels to the universe. And then you start seeing past lives. Then you start seeing how this was something you created, maybe not in the last week or the last month or the last 25 years, but you can see, I can see exactly how I created this. And then you start learning this, that the universe doesn't do things to you, but it actually does things for you. A miracle can happen in your life in 5 seconds. Here's the 5-second miracle.
Okay, well, that's an interesting argument he made that once you start taking care of yourself, really start taking care of yourself and taking care and uh, take 100% responsibility of what's going on with your life without any ifs or buts, only then universe will be merciful for you. If you take account of your actions, how you're speaking, all those little things come into the play. You might not have full uh, free will, but the percentage of free will, if you play around, like margin of error is pretty low. And if you allow certain things to go haywire, then those implications gonna be a butterfly effect, and they're gonna ruin your life in the long run. So you better be careful with the limited choices you have, because you don't have the full control of your life. You don't have a control of your breathing. You don't have a control where you're born, where how you speak in such a way, and the skin color. So those things are not in your control, but there are certain things in your control that also play in when you're dealing with the stuff. So if you play yourself rightfully, if you take responsibility fully of those specific things which at least you have a control of, then you can predict your future. But taking responsibility is the harder part. You have to have an identity of that specific person which you want to be. Like, for example, if you believe that you are a sort of person who likes doing hard things, who is disciplined, then just believing in that thing will help you. Your like personality will go towards that sort of a person, to becoming that sort of a person. So to bridge the gap, all you have to do is just believe that you're sort of a person. You're sort of a, for example, Atomic Habits. James Clear pointed out, while you're writing, you have to believe you are the writer. While you are singing, you have to believe you are the singer. You have to encapsulate the identity of that specific thing. Once you're learning a language, you have to believe you are the learner. The intention has to be there. Once the intention is there, then the room for the connection, the gap gonna fill out between the perception of you and the reality And once it's gonna fill out, then you'll be amazed at what's going on. Because at the end of the day, what you perceive of yourself, you will eventually become that sort of a human. If you like perceive yourself as a very unconfident, lazy freak, then you're gonna be an unconfident, lazy freak. But on the contrary, if you believe yourself to be sort of a leader, to sort of a person who creates stuff, who takes responsibility of your own actions, who is sort of a person who do likes doing hard things, then eventually you'll be that sort of a person. So yeah, bottom line is that you have to take responsibility, 100% responsibility of your life without any if or buts. And in doing that, you have to create the identity of yourself, that identity you would like to have. So it's fake it till make it. But faking it along the way, you have to believe yourself that sort of a person. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.